I'll be talking to you about my paper, Didactica Artificialis, towards a new discipline for teaching and learning with artificial agents. Let me begin with a simple observation. AI is no longer peripheral to education. It is inside the teaching-learning relationship itself. Students interact daily with systems that tutor, explain, correct, and generate ideas. At the same time, AI models are trained through processes that look remarkably like structured instruction. Yet, we lack a field that studies this phenomenon directly. Educational technology focuses on effectiveness. Machine learning focuses on optimization. The deeper questions, what counts as teaching, what counts as learning, remain unexamined. So, Didactica Artificialis is an attempt to name and formalize this missing space. It is not incremental, it is foundational. If you review the literature, you will see impressive technical development. AI tutors outperform traditional models. Robotic systems enhance motivation. LLM-driven agents reshape online learning environments. But something is missing. Most research measures performance gains without interrogating the conceptual foundations of these systems. What theory of learning is embedded in adaptive learning and adaptive tutoring? What assumptions about knowledge are hard-coded into feedback loops? For a business audience, this is similar to deploying enterprise AI without understanding the governance assumptions inside the architecture. For technologists, it is about interrogating the ontology of the system itself. Activity is abundant, theory is thin. These questions may sound philosophical, but they have operational consequences. If we treat AI learning as purely statistical optimization, we design differently than we treat it as a pedagogical process. If AI can meaningfully teach, then responsibility frameworks must adapt. If AI only simulates understanding, evaluation standards change. For business leaders, this affects liability and compliance. For technologists, it influences architecture and interpretability. For educators, it reshapes assessment and curriculum design. So Didactica Artificialis insists that before scaling AI in education, we need to clarify these foundational concepts. Each existing field contributes something, but none can fully address the phenomenon. Educational technology measures the outcomes. Machine learning optimizes the performance. HCI, human-computer interface, studies interface design. Philosophy explores human formation. But when at least one participant in the teaching-learning relationship is artificial, the ontological ground shifts. Concepts built for concepts that are built for exclusively human across strain under this new reality. This is not simply interdisciplinary overlap. It is conceptual insufficiency. We need a discipline structure around artificial participation in pedagogy. This is the space Didactica Artificialis occupies. The field is defined broadly and deliberately. AI can be the one being taught through fine-tuning and reinforcement learning. It can be the one teaching through tutoring systems. It can also function as a peer or collaborator in problem solving. The unifying concern is transformation of the didactic relationship, of the instructional relationship. Historically, teaching was human to human. Now it is hybrid. For organizations deploying AI learning systems, this shift is structural. It changes authority, responsibility, and epistemic trust. Didactica Artificialis studies that transformation systematically. Ontology may sound abstract, but it determines everything downstream. If we define learning as parameter adjustment, AI already learns. If we define learning as experiential transformation, the picture changes. Similarly, is teaching merely structured feedback, or does it require understanding and care? For technologists, this affects model design. For executives, it saves procurement decisions, maybe, and governance policies. For educators, it influences trust in AI tutors. Without ontological clarity, evaluation becomes superficial. Didactica Artificialis begins by stabilizing these concepts. Ethical analysis here goes beyond bias and privacy. When AI teaches incorrectly, who is responsible? The engineer, the institution, or the system itself? What happens when AI eliminates struggle, an essential component of deep learning? Could efficiency undermine formation? For businesses deploying AI training systems, this is a governance issue. For educational institutions, it is a developmental concern. So this model of Didactica Artificialis integrates pedagogical ethics with AI governance, recognizing that learning relationships carry moral weight. We cannot rely on test score comparisons alone. We need philosophical analysis to clarify concepts. We need empirical research to study interaction patterns. We need critical inquiry to uncover embedded assumptions. AI educational systems are not neutral. They encode values. Interpreting them as cultural artifacts reveals hidden curricula. For technology teams, this means engaging with educational theory. For educators themselves, it means understanding system architecture. So Didactica Artificialis creates methodological bridges across these domains. AI in education did not appear suddenly. It evolved from programmed instruction and behaviorist models, emphasizing measurable responses. Cybernetic feedback loops shaped adaptive learning. Intelligent tutoring systems have struggled with modeling student knowledge for decades. AI alignment research resembles pedagogy in disguise, instilling values through structural feedback. By tracing these histories, we uncover assumptions embedded in current systems. Historical awareness prevents repetition of past limitations and clarifies conceptual inheritance. Consider reinforcement learning from human feedback. That is a teaching process, structure, correction, shaping, behavior. How does it compare to established pedagogies? Every AI tutor encodes assumptions about how learning happens. Making those assumptions explicit reveals blind spots. Assessment becomes more complex when performance may not reflect understanding. For business, this affects AI workforce training tools. For education, it reshapes evaluation standards. So the model proposed here generates research questions that cut across engineering, philosophy, and pedagogy. Absent this field, AI educational systems default to measurable efficiency. Richer conceptions of learning, transformation, understanding, formation remain unrealized. Machine learning engineers effectively function as educators without pedagogical training. That gap is significant. For organizations investing heavily in AI, theoretical grounding improves system design and governance. Didactica Artificialis provides the conceptual infrastructure necessary for responsible innovation. AI will not retreat from education, it will expand. The question is whether theory will keep pace with practice. Building Didactica Artificialis requires interdisciplinary collaboration. It requires shared language across business, technology, and educational sectors. For executives, this is about governance and strategic foresight. For technologies, it is about architectural responsibility. For educators, it is about preserving the integrity of learning. This field is both a provocation and invitation to think systematically about artificial pedagogy before its assumptions solidify unexamined.